Today's recipe calls for tortillas. I'm gonna try to be hip and do this little trend everybody's doing on TikTok where you turn everything into basically a crunch wrap. In this video we're gonna do it 3 ways: a breakfast, a lunch / dinner, and a dessert. So with that said, let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is bust out our speed square to get the precise cut. I'm just kidding. Just find the center of your tortilla and cut down one side. Basically cutting your tortilla in half one way, so you end up with 2 flaps like this. The first wrap we're going to start on is a breakfast one, so we'll get a non-stick saute pan, heat it over medium-low heat. Then we'll crack our egg in a bowl and whisk that so we can make scrambled eggs. There's a huge debate on if you should add liquid to your eggs or not, or to season them now or later. I'm not going to add liquid, or I'll just season them later once I'm done cooking them. The bottom line is don't overcook your eggs. You want a nice, fluffy, soft egg, so don't cook them till they're bone dry, please. Next, we're going to grab our avocado and slice it in half so we can take the pit out. So just grab a small paring knife and run it down the sides of your avocado and split it in half. Then we'll go ahead and take the pit out. Then with both halves, we're just going to slice it from the top to the bottom, just sliding our knife down the avocado. You don't want to push too hard because you'll cut through the shell and potentially cut yourself, but just slice all the way down and then squeeze it slightly and move it around to break loose the slices. Now that our pan is hot, we're going to add our eggs, just scraping our bowl to get as much of the egg yolk out of the bowl as possible. You can always add butter to your pan to ensure that your egg won't stick, but if you're using a non-stick pan, you should be totally fine. Now, using a rubber spatula, we'll scrape our pan to stir our eggs around. You don't want to over stir your eggs. Overstirring them will deflate them and your eggs won't be as fluffy. So don't over mix them at this time. If it's on medium heat, this should go fairly quick, so just stir it around a couple times and you should be done. You still kind of want a little bit of yolk in your eggs. That's when you know they're nice and fluffy and tender. First thing we're going to do is throw down some spinach on one side. Then throw our egg on another side. There's really no wrong or right way to build these, I found out. So we're gonna season our eggs with a little bit of salt and fresh ground pepper. Then on the other side we're gonna throw down our avocado. So grab a spoon and just get your spoon in between the shell and the avocado, and it should pop out fairly easy like this. Cutting it into slices like we did makes it look nice, gives it a nice little aesthetic look, and it makes it easier to plate with. Then season that with salt and some fresh pepper as well. Then we're going to grab some mozzarella cheese and throw it on the other side. Now that we got our wrap built, we're going to grab another saute pan so we can cook this. Now we'll start folding, grabbing one side, folding it to the other, then folding again, then folding one last time. I found it easier to keep anything that's loose, like the cheese, keep it in the last fold, because if you try to fold it onto something else, of course you're going to lose it all. So once you get it all folded and put into a little triangle, we're going to throw it in our saute pan, just so we can melt the cheese and heat up our tortilla. It's best to go cheese side down, I found, just so you can melt the cheese quickly and you won't lose any in your pan. So we're going to do the same method for every single wrap by toasting it one last little bit before we eat it. Alright, let's give our breakfast one a try. The eggs are nice and tender and fluffy, and there's the creaminess from the avocado and that rich fattiness from the avocado as well. Then we have a nice crunch from the spinach, and then the crunch from the tortilla from toasting it. It's really good, but it's missing something. We need some hot sauce to make it a lot better. I'm a Cholula fan, but use whatever you want. This is gonna be... yeah, that made it a lot better. because the acid will help cut through that richness from the avocado. Then we're going to need a saute pan again. So over medium heat, we're going to heat up 1 teaspoon of cooking oil. I used extra virgin olive oil, but you can use whatever you would like for this. So we're going to go ahead and make a pizza one this time. We're going to add about a teaspoon of white onion. There's no real measurements on this, so use whatever you would like. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of orange bell pepper. I went with orange bell pepper because nobody ever uses it, so I wanted to try something new. The orange bell pepper is a little bit sweeter than the other bell peppers, just a heads up. And then we're going to season that with salt. And we're going to add some sliced mushrooms. You can add quite a bit of mushrooms. I went with about 2 tablespoons. This is going to cook down because there's so much water in it. So they're going to shrink quite a bit. So you can add a lot and you're not going to get a high yield. And we're going to toss those all so they're all coated in our fat and season that as well. Then you can add more oil if you need to. If you add more oil like I did, just give your veggies a toss to ensure everything is well coated. So we're going to saute all of our veggies until our onions are translucent and our bell peppers are nice and tender and all of the water has been cooked out of our mushrooms. This will take a few minutes. This pizza wrap is going to be all vegetarian. So if you wanted something different, you can do meats like Canadian bacon or sausage, or really it's up to you. There's endless possibilities with this. Now that our veggies have sauteed down, we're going to add 1 small minced garlic clove. And we're just going to saute that until our garlic becomes nice and fragrant. Once it becomes fragrant, go ahead and kill the heat. Before we build our wrap, we're going to taste our veggies and check it for seasoning and adjust accordingly. Then throw that tortilla down like it owes you money. And then grab your sauce. I went with about a tablespoon of tomato sauce and covered the entire tortilla just so that I get tomato sauce on every single bite. But that's up to you if you want to keep it in one quadrant or do it all. And when you're getting saucy, you want to take your sauce as close to the edge as you possibly can. Now that we got our sauce thrown down, we're going to hit one quadrant with some mozzarella cheese. And the next quadrant with our sauteed veggies. Then we'll throw on some fresh spinach. It'll help cut through that sweetness of the bell pepper. Oh, and then we gotta throw one more leaf on there just for good luck's sake. Then we're gonna throw some cream cheese in our wrap. Putting cream cheese on pizza sounds weird, but it's actually really good. You should try it sometime. Cream cheese is a nice balance to a pizza that has jalapenos or green chilies on it. Then we'll throw down with some more cheese. Because who doesn't love a nice cheesy pizza? Luckily for us, the tomato sauce will help make some of that cheese stick. It's not a guarantee that it's all gonna stick, but it's gonna help assist us with this one. So fold it over and push down. And then fold it one more time and then make a fool of yourself and fold it the wrong way. Don't do what I did there. And then again, throw it in our pan. And for this one, is definitely a good idea to throw it down cheese side first on the heat so it melts to keep everything stuck together. All right, let's give it a try. I'm excited for this one. I love pizza, so let's do it. It's nice and cheesy, and then it's creamy from the cream cheese, but the acid in the tomato sauce helps balance that out and cuts through it. Then we have a nice fresh and lightness from our vegetables, and they're still tender, so it gives it a nice little crunch. I would imagine if a Hot Pocket and a quesadilla had a baby, it'd make this freak of a thing, but it's good. Alright, before we move on to the last and final one, it's a must to throw on the movie The Sandlot. It'll make more sense here in a second. And for all you young whippersnappers out there, this contraption, it's called a DVD. It's pretty fancy, right? Man, I sound old. For this last and final one, we're going to make a s'mores one. On one side, we're going to cover it completely with dark melted chocolate. I just used the microwave to melt our chocolate. It was just a lot easier and faster because I wasn't going to melt a whole lot. So just cover one side completely with chocolate. And the other side we're just going to cover with peanut butter because chocolate and peanut butter is so good together. So technically this isn't a s'mores one. This is like a s'mores-ish one. If you don't like peanut butter, you can cover both sides with chocolate. Then we're on our chocolate side, we're going to sprinkle a little bit of sea salt, which sea salt and chocolate is so good. And then in one quadrant, we're just going to add some shaved chocolate pieces. And then we're going to grab our graham cracker to our s'more and break it up into little pieces and throw it on there. Then with this wrap, like all the other ones, there's no set amounts of what you should use. So put as much as your little sweet tooth can handle. Luckily for us, both sides, our ingredients have something to stick to. So grab a small little handful of some mellows and throw it on there. Then you can tell that all of our marshmallows have stuck to the chocolate, which will help us when we go to fold it. So fold one side again. Then I threw some chocolate down on this other side just to ensure that our graham crackers had something to stick to as well. And fold it, and then fold it again one last time. And then we'll throw it in our pan to toast. And then you want to go marshmallow side down just so we can get a nice melt on our marshmallows. Then you're going to cook this one until all your marshmallows are nice and melty. Alright, let's give our s'mores-ish one a try. It's pretty messy, but let's go for it. Nice classic s'mores flavor with that sweet addition of the peanut butter, because chocolate and peanut butter is so good together. Then we have a bit of crunchiness from the graham cracker that we threw in there. It's pretty sweet, but with that sea salt, it helps balance it out. So if you have a sweet tooth, one's perfect for you. Alright, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I inspired you to go create your own Frankenstein Crunch Wrap. If you do create your own, post it on Instagram and tag me at TaylorMakes92. I'd really like to check it out. Or make one from this video and go to the comments and tell me which one your favorite one is out of the three. Personally, my favorite one is the breakfast one. It reminds me of a breakfast burrito, and breakfast burritos are so good, it doesn't matter what time of day it is. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm gonna go finish watching The Sandlot and then go to the backyard and practice catching some pop flies. Hopefully I don't miss one and give myself a black eye. But either way, it should be pretty fun. So we'll see you on the next one. A little PSA. Don't make these all at once and then eat them all at once. Whoever thought this video was a good idea? My stomach hurts now. Why am I looking at it like a weirdo? Alright, that's it for this video. Options.